Hello, greetings and welcome to Silverstone Live on Facebook with the recorded videos. You know all this, the recorded videos available here on my Facebook page and on my YouTube channel immediately after the live show. This is the place for fashion, entertainment, food and drink, and so much more. Each week I invite a special guest to join me to discuss one of these topics. Post your thoughts and comments during the live show below the live stream, and my guest will address as many as possible in the next hour. You may not know this, in fact you won't know this because I didn't tell anyone, but this past week we upgraded the equipment here out of necessity, but due entirely to the help of those people who I tell you about every single week. And we're going to roll some tape right now, all about my friends who made this show possible yet again this week. Silverstone Live is powered by Experiment, King of Prussia, Pennsylvania, the Apple specialist for people who can't afford the Apple stores and who want a less frenzied experience. There's no wait time at Experiment, King of Prussia. They accept trade-ins and transfer data at no additional charge, and most repairs are finished in under 15 minutes, and they can add memory on the spot. Experiment, King of Prussia specializes in selling pre-owned Apple products, a full range: computers, iPhones, iPads and accessories, making repairs, taking trade-ins and selling software and system updates. And every purchase comes with a 12-month warranty. Silverstone Live is only live each week thanks to our studio equipment, care and support by my mates at Experiment, King of Prussia, Pennsylvania. Thank you, Experiment. We look good tonight. I love this new system we have. And let me move on to something very important. My guest, Todd Rendon, is the owner of Trendon Treasures and is more popularly known among YouTubers and eBay addicts and auction houses as the Flippin' Hustler. Todd began selling on eBay 2 years and 1 month ago. And since then, he has... Oh, fortunately, that wasn't the computer that just fell down. Otherwise, I would be in trouble. Todd began selling on eBay 2 years and 1 month ago, and since then, he has become one of the most successful and trusted names in his game. I happen to be one of his very satisfied customers, having bid last week on a vintage heavy-duty camera case made from top-grade genuine cowhide. Now, I've got to show you this. I absolutely have to show you this. Take a look. Look at that. I took that actually with my, I bought that for a very special Nikon D70, an old camera I bought, which isn't worth much, but it takes fabulous photos. But I took that photo this morning with my Android camera. I'm kicking myself now. I shouldn't have bothered with the case or the camera. But anyway, look at that. And I shouldn't tell you how much I paid for it, and I won't. But let's just say I got a lot of change out of a $20 bill. I don't know if he wants me to tell you this. Anyway, dealing with Todd was an amazing experience, and I decided there and then to have him chat with us about the art of eBay. Let me also mention, because there's a lot to mention here about this guy, he is a true entrepreneur. Todd's other site, called Trendon Treasures, is an online store that offers everything from women's and men's clothing and shoes to vintage toys. Todd looks for treasures that will spark fond memories from our childhood. My childhood goes back to Neanderthal days, and all the way through to items we just gotta have from the present time. So without any further ado, which is something I never say because I hate saying it, Todd Rendon, the Flippin' Hustler, welcome to Flippin' Silverstone Live. There you are on camera, mate.
Hi, Phil. How you doing? Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Well, you better hold that till the end of the show, just in case you don't enjoy what we discuss here. But I love your backdrop there. Do you sell those sky backdrops?
No, I don't, but I should, huh?
Well, if you do, as everyone else knows who comes on this show, I want a bit of money for that. Now, if I put your name on the screen, which I'm doing, you can't see this. It covers, let's just, before I do that, I'm putting it in the middle of the screen so people can see that you're wearing the Flippin' Hustler sweatshirt, which I am, and hoodie, looks like. I'm going to get to that at the end of the show, but you'll forgive me. I am going to, for now, put your name at the bottom of the screen because it's got all the pertinent information that people will need to contact you and to talk to you. Now, you seem, Todd, and thanks again for everything you did. I mean, I have to tell everyone that this case I got from you, not only is it in perfect condition, but it arrived here within 3 days, and you were a delight to work with. So that, I told you that before we started this show. That's the reason I wanted to have you on here. This isn't an infomercial, but the fact that what you do does sell to the community, to customers around the world. And my experience was so first class, I wasn't afraid to introduce you. So you seem to have a fantasy job. You grew up in the hustle bustle of city life in Colorado, and now you live out in the country, wheeling and dealing from your computer with game, wandering around your backyard. Seems like the stuff of dreams, is it?
It really is. It is. You know, I've held several positions in my life. I was in the corporate world. You know, I was in sales my whole life. I've owned multiple companies, be it transportation or otherwise, and everything just kind of put me to this place right now where I'm supposed to be, and it's awesome. I'm thankful.
Well, I'm going to pick up on what you just said. You've, and I want people to know this a little bit because this is important, but there's a point to it, I think. You've been an entrepreneur seemingly since you left school. You've covered a vast array of businesses, from exotic dancers, well, you were very young, to pimping cars with electroplating. You owned a limo company, a tow company, and even sold cars at a dealership. Now, this last job, and this is what I think is important, this last job, selling cars at a dealership, got you into a lot of hot water because of your honesty with customers, dissuading them from buying cars you felt they weren't suited to driving. What this all tells me is that you both love working with people, with customers, directly with customers, but you're also a decent, honest bloke, both of which are perfectly suited to running a business on eBay. Correct?
Absolutely. Absolutely. There are two things, Philip, that I believe in. I'm trying to bring them back in to our common thought process, and one is customer service. Old-fashioned customer service. You know, if you wanted to pick up the phone and call me and ask a question about that bag, you were more than welcome to it. The second thing is chivalry. There's just not enough of it nowadays. So, you know, I'm old school. I'm 45 years old. And so those are the things that I was raised on, is to provide good customer service.
I wish I was 45 again. Yeah, I agree with that calling up. I called you up. You told me to bugger off. But okay, maybe it was a bad day. Maybe it was a bad day. For anyone who's watching, do say hello. I know we've got some spies on here. They could well be spies from your industry, so we have to be very careful. When you were smitten by eBay, you focused on the people who were doing really well selling on it. Because obviously, right, you know, you were starting out, and that's a good approach that people should take in any business. You look at who you consider. I did it when I started out years ago in the wine business. I went to the people I saw at the top of their game, and they became mentors. And this inspired you to learn the art of eBay and applying what you learned from these guys and women and men to your own business. How long did it take you, Todd, to feel totally comfortable with this online selling experience?
Well, every day is a new day and you learn something new. Sometimes it's the hard way that you learn. It took me approximately 8 to 12 months, probably a good year, before I felt comfortable, you know, because there's always something to learn. There's always something to research. There's so much product out there and I sell such a wide variety of things that, you need to know about what you're selling, because if you don't know about your product, you can't properly sell it.
Well, yeah, I mean, I suppose that's true of most things. eBay just to me seems as if it's such a wide open global marketplace. When what I like about your philosophy is that you focused initially, and you probably still do, on local thrift shops, seeking out treasures with traders in your community. I see two advantages here. Firstly, especially when starting out, you keep your travel expenses very low, because most people don't have a lot of money to invest in a new business. So you keep your travel expenses low. But also the other good thing is locals know they can phone you if they pick up something they feel will interest you. Is this still pretty true today, even though you've expanded, you've grown? Do you still keep very much in touch with all the local people?
Yes. I do try and keep all my money local. I live in a town of approximately 2,000 people, Philip, and there is a small town thrift store here. And then the next town over is about 25 miles. And so I network, and I have my little community of people who buy and sell. There's people who are much larger than I am as far as volume, but I go to those people because they are local mentors.
Do they call you? Do they say, hey, I just found something? Or do you have, for example, when I go into a thrift store, or when I go into, thrift stores primarily, if I know the owner, or even if I don't know the owner, I say, look, I'm looking for such and such. When you're out, if you see something, do you want to text me a photo and I'll tell you if I want it? Do you ever do that? Or do they do that with you if it's one of your locals?
No, I haven't gotten to that point yet. I haven't. When I walk in, they say, oh, hey, Todd, we have this. But they haven't picked up the phone and said, hey, Todd, we have this yet. But I haven't asked them to, and if you don't ask, then, they won't do it.
Hey, who's giving out the tips on this show today? I mean, maybe I should mentor you, but no, you're doing okay. You're wearing your flipping shirt. You're drinking from your flipping cup. You're turning into Donald. No, I won't go that far. Excuse me, not supposed to cough on the show. I just mentioned that obviously you were inspired, as I said I was at the beginning, by the people you respected as knowing the eBay business.
Yes.
I just want a yes or no to this, and then we're going to come right back to it. But was the Hawk one of these people?
When I very first started, no.
But he is now.
He is now, absolutely.
Okay, well, hold on to that thought, because I want to run some tape of you and the Hawk on the road.
Yeah, he's awesome.
I went to my first auction this morning and picked up a whole bunch of really cool stuff. Got some vintage catalogs. I mean, just some really good stuff. And then Hawk said, well, what are you doing after this? And I said, well, I don't know. And he said, well, let's go check it out. So here we are, man. We've been to, 3 stores so far? Three stores, and we found a few things. The last one we did strike out, but we're going to go to...
Typically it's pretty bad, though. They're usually better.
Yeah.
They're usually pretty good here.
So we're going to a cool place that this gentleman goes in. He must buy out estates or something, right?
Show them Minnesota.
Oh yeah.
Just switching.
Let me switch the camera around here, guys. Let me flip her around.
Red River.
It's the Red River, Minnesota. And we've gone in from Fargo. Now we're in Minnesota.
So that doesn't look like a dream job out in a cold, wintry day in Minnesota. But tell me about the Hawk, because this looks like a seasoned veteran who knows his way around. And I don't even know him, but just in those few minutes, he seemed like he knew what he was doing. Who is the Hawk?
The Hawk is a gentleman that I met about a month ago. I was walking through a store that's about 25 miles from here, walking down the corridor on the phone with my wife, walking back to the spot that I like to go to. And as I'm walking, I didn't have this shirt on, and I had a hat on, I even think. And he goes, "As seen on YouTube, the flippin' hustler." And I said, "Wow, wow, baby, I gotta go. Let me call you back." So I hung up and I was like, "Excuse me, sir." And he's like, "Yeah, I've seen you on YouTube. I'm the Hawk." And I was like, "I've never seen you in my chat." He goes, "I'm a new subscriber." And I said, "Wow." Because to be, I'm in a town of 2,000 people, to be 22 miles away, and, I have subscribers from Ireland and Spain. They're all over. But to have one, notice you was pretty awesome.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Of course, I got used to that with millions of people. I can't walk down New York City without being attacked by at least one policeman. But anyway, that was very good. But you didn't do well that day, or did it get better for you? Because that must be awful to go out on the road, spend money going out. Or he was driving. You were smart. You had him pay for the gas, probably. But you go out on the road. Do you come back somewhat dejected if you don't find anything wonderful?
No, because that was the very first auction I went to. I went there with $100 in my pocket and a debit card, and it was so exciting to be in that environment. You've got an auction going over here and an auction going over here, and it's loud and there's bustling people. And I bought a lot of neat things, and he showed up there, and I haven't seen him, but one other time since that initial meeting. So
did I hear you?
But he's very knowledgeable.
Did I hear you on one of your videos kind of impersonate one of these auction people? I never understand A, what they're saying, or B, how you know when to jump in. Did you do that? Can you do a bit of like auction, whatever it's called, where they go? Was that you?
Well, not really, but they go 50, 50, 50, or they'll say, "So let's start out 25, 25, 25, who has 25, and they'll go 20, and they'll bring it down to like 15, and then someone will jump in and say, "I'll give you 15. Well, the first time I bid, I didn't know what to do, so I went, "Ah!" I just screamed, and the guy next to me looked at me like, "Hey, what the heck's wrong with you, buddy?" It was awesome. So that's how they do it on TV, right?
Yeah, I used to watch a guy before they had cable TV. There was a guy on Saturday afternoons who used to do a show like that. And I used to just be mesmerized. He had a cowboy hat, and he used to do that. Of course, I visualize they all have cowboy hats. I mean, you can imagine the English version where they go, "How much am I bid for this wonderful?" It takes, they sell 50 items, whereas in the UK, they sell one per hour. They sell, 50 an hour. You've started going to these auctions, so you have to compete head to head with some pretty seasoned professionals, not all of them. Some of them are less seasoned than you. Are you comfortable in that environment, or do you prefer shopping less aggressively?
Well, it was new to me, and I wanted to go outside of my comfort zone. I love people, but being around thousands of people at one time kind of freaks me out. But I said, you know what? If I want to get bigger and expand and be better, I need to go outside my comfort zone. And if it hurts, well, then I'm going to do it. So I walked in there, and my heart was pounding because I'm around strangers, and I just went for it and didn't let anybody stop me. It was awesome. And then when I left, I felt like I could do anything. And so then I came home and I took pictures and listed it. And, I probably scored $1,500 worth of stuff out of that $100 that day.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that is impressive. That is impressive. And I assume that you get an adrenaline rush. And if you do you ever sort of lose sight of the fact that you've got to buy smartly, or do you just get so caught up in this adrenaline rush that you might accidentally buy something because you're so excited? Or do you keep yourself level-headed if you do have an adrenaline rush?
Okay, so I can give you an example. The first thing I purchased was something I had no idea what it was. It was some kind of a puller. I knew it was a tool, and it was going to be expensive. I bought it, and it cost me $3. All said and done, I'm selling it for $49. Very cool flip. The next thing was a knife that I thought was something, but in the heat of the moment, I paid $8 for it. Come to find out, it was junk. It was not worth my time. However, I recovered with the third thing that I purchased was it's just something to drywall and sheetrock. It's a tool. and I paid $750 for it, and that's going for like $75. So, you know, to be able to find something for $1 and turn it into 30, 50, that's what I aspire to do consistently. Right now, my average is about $18 to $20 per item.
Wow.
So,
Have you ever watched, and I want to get onto something else, but have you ever watched the Antique Roadshow?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've got to be you've got to look really, really hard to see. Hi, Ann Smith. Hi there. There's people watching, but today, for some reason, you must be intimidating them. They don't want to say hi. But so you watch do you get like the rest of us and suddenly start digging around and saying, what have I got here that I paid $1 for in a trash bin? Or maybe went in a trash bin and got it, and it's worth $1 million. Do you ever think you might have something worth $1 million?
Well, not $1 million, but I'm always looking for something worth thousands of dollars or hundreds. You know, if I can turn $5 into a couple $100, and I've turned $1.50 into 257 in one shot.
Good for you. That's exciting. That's turning me on. I'm suddenly thinking about maybe giving this all up and going onto eBay. I love the TV series, and this I know you've got to watch. And I got hooked on it because it's, I suppose, what hooked you on eBay. American Pickers, where a couple of dudes, for people that don't know, in a truck drive around the country finding collectors of all kinds of weird and wonderful items hidden away in barns way off the beaten track. Have you done that type of picking yet?
Yes, that I have, because I live up in a small community.
Yeah.
My brother or father-in-law's cousin said, why don't you come out to the farm, because we're going to be getting rid of all this stuff. Well, this stuff's been sitting in the basement for 50, 60 years, and there's more stuff out there in the barn. That has happened. And I've, got a lot of Carnival glass, a lot of Federal, a lot of neat brands that are awesome that I had no idea what they were when I picked it up. But I looked at it and I said, I know that's something. And for 2 years, Philip, that's what I did was I said, I did my research online, but when I was out sourcing, that's what you call shopping, sourcing, I went with my gut and I said, I know that's something. And it was a 60-40 kind of thing. When I hit big, I hit big. When I didn't, I still have to sell it because I bought it. It's just not going to be as great of a flip as I thought. But to me, I want to turn $1 into 20, 30, but I have 800 plus items in my store.
Yeah.
So it's.
But this brings me on to something else, and I can't find the word for it. By the way, I have to just mention this because I mention it every time. Those people at Campari who might be watching this is what I drink throughout the show. I want you to become bloody sponsors. I drink Campari every week. I always have to mention that because one of these days somebody from Campari is going to watch this. Following up on that thought, and I don't know what the word is. For some reason, the word coming to me from the UK maybe is a divvy, but maybe I've got the completely wrong word. There are some people, Todd, who seem to have a sixth sense about being in the vicinity of something very special. The hairs on their neck stand to attention. They feel the vibe of a gem, a treasure, something that they're looking at. Would you say in your case that's what you mean? Because I heard you say this. You said that you find something and you quote, just have a feeling about it. Is this the kind of thing we're talking about?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Like the camera, the bag that you have right there, that was one of those feelings. I picked it up and I said, wow, I don't know what this is, but I know this is something. I could feel the quality in the quality, 100% quality.
And you said yourself, there is some jerk out there that's going to buy this off me, right?
Absolutely. And yep.
But listen,
no.
You must have paid 50. I don't want to know. And it doesn't matter because I got a great deal, but you couldn't have made much money off me.
No, yours is a story, actually. I haven't made a video about it, but there is a story behind that.
Can you tell me? Because I want to be able to share it when I walk around and stop people in the street and take their photos.
Yeah, okay, so I get a sale from this gentleman named Philip, okay, one day. once upon a time, this gentleman named Philip bought a bag from me. And he said, I'm out of the United States right now, Todd, but will you ship it to me anyway? And I said,
I didn't say that. Hang on. I didn't say that.
no, or you
No.
weren't able to.
I,
Either way, I shipped
I
it to you.
said to you, I will be back tomorrow. I was out of town. I said, I'll be back tomorrow and pay you tomorrow.
back
Let's get the
tomorrow.
story straight here, because
I
I
knew
don't know
you were
what
gone.
you're leading to.
You were away from home base.
Yes.
So let's put it. You were not at home.
Yes.
And I said, I'm going to ship it to this guy anyway. You know, I don't know him from the man on the moon, but I'm going to ship it to him anyway.
Yes, you did.
And that's something that I have never done for anybody. But I just said, you know what? You have to try these things, because worst case scenario, Philip, you got the bag, you never paid, everything didn't work out, and it was a lesson. The flip side of that is, what's it going to hurt for me to send this bag to this gentleman, make his day, because he needs this bag, he wants this bag, he needs it for his camera. That's all I kept thinking. This gentleman needs it for his camera, and I wanted you to have it as fast as possible. That's
why you're on this show today, because of what you did. I could not believe you said to me, by the time I got back here, it's on its way. Of course, I did pay him, ladies and gentlemen. I did pay him.
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
I should have paid him more, because he went to a lot of trouble. It's a heavy bag. I don't even know if he made out on that. But anyway, thank you for that. I do appreciate it, and that's why we're about to start this friendship together. Have you found items that really did sell like hotcakes? I mean, where you purchased, maybe there was more than one of the same item, and you must have been, if so, you must have been both surprised and impressed with your own sixth sense.
Absolutely. I think a lot of it is, when persistence meets opportunity and you've done your research, then you're walking out into the world you're armed with knowledge. So when you see something, you may not consciously know what you're looking at, but something inside you says, I've seen that before. I know that's something. So maybe that's where the sixth sense comes from, is research. But brassieres, women's brassieres, for example, that was a beautiful find if you want to go there.
Well, and I know it's a gift, but that's not the word I was looking for. And there used to be a show, Todd, you wouldn't have seen this because you're too young. But it was called Lovejoy. I'm sure you've never heard of it, and you should check it out on YouTube. It might be shows. It was with an actor, an English actor. It's an English show called Ian McShane. Like you, he lived out in the country. He lived out in a little village area in the UK, and he was he was not 100% dependable, let's say, but it was all about buying antiques and selling them. But he had a fellow working with him. And this fella had this gift, and somebody, I'm surprised somebody watching in hasn't told me what it is. And this word divvy keeps coming, but it is a gift, and I looked it up, and it is true. There are people that go to auctions, and they just can smell very expensive. They can smell something that maybe is, or sense something that maybe it's 300 years old, but everyone else thinks it's more recent. But I just want to move on. We're going to show the audience, as I've promised them, some items which you have not put on eBay yet, but you're offering on this show for the first time, so they can email you and buy anything they see before it goes into the eBay auction. Before we get to that, and that's coming up, before we get to that, I'd like to ask you for a few tips for people who are watching. Obviously, I don't want you to give the game away completely, otherwise we'll be creating competition for you. But some few tips for the amateur out there who'd like to either buy or sell on eBay, but might be hesitant because they simply don't know how to play the game. Let's talk about buying first. You see an item, and when I say you, I'm being general now. I say I see an item which is super expensive. You put it on eBay, and it says, as I've done this past week, it says 50 people are watching. and you know it's a $400 camera, and at the moment it has $25 bid on it. So if there's still, say, 4 days to go until the auction ends, surely there isn't any point bidding on it until the final minutes, if it is still at a reasonable price at that time. And then it's a matter of who can get the best bid in before the clock stops, sort of finger on the buzzer game show scenario. Is that how the game is played? And if so, how do you end up grabbing a bargain? That's where I want some help.
Right. Okay, so that was a lot of questions in one sentence.
It's actually one question. Basically, the question is, if I'm seeing something online right now for $40 on a $400 item, is there any point me bidding on it now, knowing there's 4 days to go? And also, I suppose two questions. When you get to the final minutes, how do you just grab it? So you can take that as one question, two questions, or whatever you want.
Okay, so the second part, you just need to be quick. You need to be fast and bid. And every time you bid, if you're watching, it's counting down by the seconds, and it'll say you've been outbid, and then you bid again. And it says you've been outbid, you bid again, you're the highest bidder, and it goes back and forth. And you just keep clicking until hopefully you're the highest bidder when the actual it ends.
So it's like a slot machine in the casino, in a sense. I mean, to that extent, you're just going to hope that you are going to get 3 cherries right on the right point of time.
That's possible, yeah. Now, there's 2 different ways that a person can do an auction. I don't run a lot of auctions. I do a buy it now. I do long tail stuff. I post it, and it stays up there for 30 days. But the auctions that I have done, you put your item up, people bid on it, but what I like to do if you're going to do the auction that way is put a buy it now, because there's going to be people that come along and say, hey, there's my $400 camera. The guy wants $300 for it. Right now, the thing is at $49. I don't want to wait till it gets to $299 and try and be outbid. I'll pay the $300 now and just buy it. That is also an option, a buy it now option.
So the buy it now option, even though it's much higher than what the bidding price is, if you've done your research, and Anne has just said something about research, I agree with what you've said there, Anne. If you do your research and you know it's worth $400 and it says buy it now for $300, then heck with it. If you really want it, buy it now. But you do the other thing, because it gives you options on eBay. You do make a deal, right? Buy it now, make a deal, or just buy it now?
I do buy it now, and you can just buy it right now. It'll be up there for 30 days. I also do best offers on a lot of items.
That's what I meant, yeah.
Best offers, meaning, I'm asking $25. I'll put a minimum of, let's say I want $15 out of the item. Someone comes in and offers me $15. I'll go ahead and accept their offer.
Okay, so when you go on there and it says make an offer, it tells you what you should make the offer at, and basically that's a guidepost on the road to buying it, right? So if it says make an offer of $15.50, most people would accept that, or would they still play the game and say, nah, I'll come back at 20?
A lot of people play the game, and I've tried to do everything possible to jiggle the algorithms, as I say. Jiggle the algorithms. Do a little buy it now, do a few auctions, do free shipping, do non-free shipping. If you touch every part of eBay that you can, in a sense, it helps with your store. If you work it, it works.
From the side of the audience member right now, as a buyer, if you know that something is worth X amount and it says buy it now, and well, that's like going into a store and seeing it's got a sticker on it saying discounted $100. You know that it's $100 less. Would you suggest to the neophyte, to the person starting out, don't get involved in the auction, because it's almost like Deal or No Deal? They offer you 800,000, but there's a case with $1 million. Do you want to be that greedy and get nothing, or do you? So would you recommend, if they know the item and they're not that familiar with eBay, heck with it, just just get it for 100 less and buy it now. Is that a recommendation?
I think so. I mean, if you're a brand new user and you just want to buy an item, yeah, just go in and buy it. But do your research before you go, because you're going to find that there's multiple people selling the same thing.
Absolutely. I mean, eBay helps you there. But see, as somebody who is an obsessed researcher when I'm buying something, I always know when I go onto eBay how much something is worth. I find it hard to believe, but you're going to tell me that I should believe this, I'm sure. Are there people then that go onto eBay and bid on things without knowing what they're worth? Please tell me there aren't.
I believe that eBay in life, really, but eBay is all about perceived value.
Perceived value. Does that mean that they've done the
value,
research, or they just feel that that's what it's worth?
To them, this could be worth $1 million, to anybody. And I'll show you an example when I get to this product, this Jupiter thing I'm going to show you.
Okay. So let's move on to the selling side. You have, as you've already mentioned, you have like, I don't know, 740 odd items, and you ship up to a dozen items a day. Well, I was going to ask you if you set a minimum bid, but you are actually more focused on the buy it now or best offer. But if you work on, let's forget you, but let's work on somebody, or you do this a little bit. If you work on something that is a minimum bid, do you know, okay, let me rephrase this so it makes sense for everyone. If you have a camera, I'm going to focus on cameras here, pun intended, and you put down a minimum bid of 30, you know that if you only get the minimum bid, and this is now we're talking about the seller, the neophyte seller, the seller who has never been on there before, if they put a minimum bid, the game is, of course, to try to get as high as possible, but in the worst case scenario, if they are only bid the minimum, they have to know going in that that minimum is going to bring them a profit, right?
Right. You don't want to go in losing.
But you never know going in if you are going to... I mean, have you ever put anything in for a bid and you've had no bids on it?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. That's part of doing business.
And and let's say you put something in with a minimum bid of 30 and somebody bids you 31, which you must have done. Are you really, is that a lost leader, or have you still made money on that?
No. I source in such a way that, yeah, I would make money off a $30 product.
So, so whatever you do on eBay, whether it's buying or whether it's selling, you go in selling, and however good the deal is that you're offering, you have to make sure that even if you only get one bid and it's $1 more than the minimum, that you're walking away with a profit. And the same way when you're purchasing, you have to have knowledge. You should not go on. It's like going into a store or buying a car. You have to have knowledge of what you're doing. It really can't be just, oh, look, that's interesting. Oh, I'll throw this down on it and see what I get. It's all about knowledge, right? Both sides of the game.
Right. It comes down to, when I go to research something, I'll go to what we call in the eBay world, the solds. So I'll go search for a widget, and I'll look under the sold widgets and how much did Phillip sell his widget for? And then I'll analyze his listing, and then I'll go deeper and I'll look into all of their solds and I'll analyze all their listings. And yeah.
Right. Now, if you're selling on eBay, I'm sticking with the selling, and then I'm going to move off of this. I'm sticking with the selling. So you are selling an item that is one of 20 items being sold. As a seller, what do you do, if anything, to make your items sexier and more appealing than the other 19 that are on there?
Take better pictures, take more pictures, have a better reputation, meaning more feedback, because reputation is everything. And and a good description. And yeah, I mean, pictures, reputation, description, and then customer service. And not necessarily in that order, but that's the 4 ingredients.
And I look for the
Because,
reputation before anything. I look at the percentage, and they're accurate, right? I mean, that eBay does base that on the logarithms or whatever they work on, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So before we show the items that we're holding back for today's audience, I want to ask you if I heard something you said correctly, because this sounded interesting. I may be completely wrong, but I was watching some videos of yours. Are you now fascinated with and about to start seeking out otigari, Japanese stoneware and ceramics from the middle and the end of the last century, or did I misunderstand that?
You were close, very close. You were close on the otigari, and you're close on the Japanese, but they're not the ceramics. Otigari actually made multiple products, and one of the other ones is a mobile. And I'm not sure if it's the same exact company.
They made I lost you there. What did they? I didn't hear what you said. They made a what?
They make mobiles, hanging mobiles.
Oh, yes. Yeah, well, the otigari was 2 different things. One was the name of the stoneware, but the other was the name of the company. So you're buying it, you're looking for things from otigari. And I brought that up in case people who are watching happen to own anything from the otigari company, they can contact you.
Yes, or they can themselves. Let me backtrack a little bit, Philip. You were asking how would people go about getting on eBay? If they wanted to be a seller. I think, did you ask that?
Yes.
Well, if you did, okay, look around your house, look to the left and the right, and I'm sure there's something that people would want to part with, and start there. Don't go out and invest any money, but you have to start your PayPal account. That's where you get paid, and it has to sync up with eBay. So there's about a 3-day lag in there where you're juggling, and that gives you time to get things set up, and then you're off and running. Take your pictures, put your listing up, and focus on quality initially. Well, I suppose always, but and get a good listing up and just watch it. And then when it sells, and you wake up one morning and you have $50 or $100 in there, it's pretty fun.
Oh, I'm sure that it is. You're a very busy bloke because you also sell off of a site called Teespring, which is an Amazon type shopping experience, and you sell items with your brand name on them, such as your T-shirt, your sweatshirt, and your cup. And no offense meant here, but do people want your cups and T-shirts and leggings with your name on them? And let me just show people a healthy young woman off to the gym in her cheeky leggings. There we go. So you can answer the question while we're looking at this tush here with Flippin' Hustler on these red leggings. I mean, I would have no objection seeing anyone wearing those. Why do people want, and I don't mean this disrespectfully, why do people want your name on their bottom other than your wife?
Well, I don't know if they necessarily want it on their bottom, but the reason that people purchase my products, and if there's people in my chat, I'm sure that some of my people are in the chat. They have to be, that have purchased my stuff. The reason is because the Flippin' Hustler is not necessarily a person. The Flippin' Hustler or Flippin' Hustling is a mind state. We purchase things at garage sales, auctions, thrift stores to flip. So then that's where the flipping part comes in. Hustle, well, if you want to make a living doing this, you have to hustle. So I'm the Flippin' Hustler, but to be a Flippin' Hustler is more of a state of mind. It's not a person. And so people out there that are resellers in the community, they say, you know what, I want to have a Flippin' Hustler because I'm a Flippin' Hustler too. And I have certain products that if you look down, it's upside down, so it says Flippin' Hustler. But every time you look down, it reminds you because you can read it yourself. If you're having a bad day, you look down and say, oh yeah, I am the Flippin' Hustler. It's called the Flippin' Reminder, buddy.
Well, you may not realize this, but I am the consummate and have been for a long time Flippin' Hustler. My hobby is buying and selling mostly on Craigslist, but I'm doing it all the time. It is one of the ways that I unwind, relax, and I do it between 12 and 3 a.m. 12 midnight, 3 a.m. I'm all over Craigslist. I'm on eBay. I don't sell on eBay, but I do buy on there. And I have been wheeling and dealing my whole life. And that's another story. I won't want to bore. I won't bore the audience with this now. Some people know about it, but I'll share it with you one day. So let's get... Oh, we're good on time. Let's get to some items you're holding back for our audience, both on the live show and also on the YouTube version. So let's hold back for the next few days. Let's say till Wednesday of this week, if you can afford to do that. I'll show each item. Okay, I'll show each item. Tell us whatever you know about the item. And since this isn't an auction, let us know how much this show's viewers can buy them for. You can post an offer below, ladies and gentlemen. That's only for the live show, not for the video. Not on YouTube. Only right now at 5:49 p.m. Eastern Time on Friday the 11th on Facebook. You can post an offer below, ladies and germs, or pop an email to Todd. It's on the screen there. The Flippin', no G in Flippin', the Flippin' Hustler at gmail.com. This will be put below the video anyway, so you'll be able to do that. Todd will let you know shipping costs both within and without the USA. I'm assuming you'll ship overseas with the shipping costs, right?
Yes, I do ship overseas.
So this is for our complete audience out there who are watching in. I will go now, Todd, to... Oh, and let me just put up your logo a minute. This is the Trend and Treasures logo. Established in 2016, I'm sorry. I was going to say 1716 when Todd was born, but no, it's established in 2016. Okay, now we are going to get that off of here. We've done the cheeky leggings. The first thing that I'm putting on the screen, Todd can't see this because on Skype, he doesn't share the same screen as me, is the word I was looking for. The first thing we've got is a 1960s Channel Master red and white by Sanyo. That's on the screen. What is that, a radio, clock radio?
Oh, that is such a cool radio. Yes. Yes, I found that the day I was out with Hawk.
Oh,
I believe. Yeah.
And
yep, it was... I paid $6.99 for it. I took it out of the leather case. It was dirty, of course, because it's like 50, 60, 70 years old. It's old. It's from the 60s. So how old is that?
Be careful what you say here. Just be careful what you say about this, okay? Just let's say it's from the 60s. Leave it at that. Don't get into how ancient it is. And it's the sort of thing that I would jump on. How much are you selling it for? How much can these people watching in buy this for?
Absolutely. I believe.
Don't believe. I got to have a real price because you got to quote it. You've got to accept whatever. If they come to you and say we'll buy it for that.
I need to pull it off of eBay. I thought I pulled that one off. I think I left it up there, but I need to pull it off. It's up there for $45.
$45. $45. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. So this is the 60s Channel Master by Sanyo. It works, does it?
Oh yeah, it's neat.
Okay, it's $60. It's how much is it?
It's $45 plus shipping. So depending on where you live, it's going to determine shipping.
Okay, $45 plus shipping. $45 plus shipping. Okay. The next is the Eye of the Storm book. And let me get that on the screen here. Let me get myself out, but got you there. It's got, looks like it's got the Pelican Brief, Treasures, Eye of the Storm, The Island Harp. 4 books in one? Oh, that's the book with the hole in it. That's the book with the hole in it. I've got a picture of this up here because I asked you what the hell. So this is, what is it? 4 books in one?
Yes, the Pelican Brief, Treasures, Eye of the Storm, and the Island Harp. I found it this way. I did not do this. I would never deface a book that I read.
So
But-
there's a hole in it for no apparent reason other than when you're reading the book, you can see people looking at you and picking their nose or making funny faces at you, right?
You know, you could put a lens through this thing and then sit there like this. I really don't know. I have no idea.
Well, let me ask
Why
you.
some-
Let me ask
Yeah.
you a question, which will probably sound absurd, but I got to ask you: when you read each of the stories, does it disappear because of the hole, or does it continue the other side of the hole?
It continues. I mean,
It continues
Well,
across.
you're gonna miss, you know, half the story.
Oh, so half the story is missing.
Pretty much.
Why would any Todd? I have to ask you this question, with all due respect, Todd. Why would anyone buy this book?
Because it's odd. It's something that we're sitting here talking about it right now.
Todd,
You know, there's someone that wants
Todd,
it.
listen. Let's just be honest. You're odd. You're a very strange man. It doesn't mean I'm going to have you over for dinner. The same way that. Okay, how much are you selling this book for? Because we have a very odd audience out there. How much are you selling that book for?
You know what? This is something that I was going to say. Make me an offer. Make me an offer over $10 and plus shipping, and you guys can have it. What are you going to use it for? I don't know. Somebody will.
There's the book, folks.
Yeah.
Let me show you the two photos side by side. That's the book on one side and the hole on the other. Make Todd an offer of $10 plus the shipping, and it's yours. And I need to find out from you why you bought it. There are odd people out there, and it could be, you know what? It could be a fun gift for the strangest person in your world who you dislike enormously. Or that could frustrate the hell out of someone that you don't like because they're reading a story that they love and half of it's missing. So there's a million reasons for that. Who knows? Or maybe somebody is about to propose to his girlfriend to marry him, and he'll put some flowers in the middle of it and bury a ring in it. There, I've sold it for you. I've just come up with the
There
idea.
you go.
I have to say that is a whole new way of selling things. That was a joke. Okay, let's get on to something that may be less weird. Who knows? This is the Jupiter Mobile. What the hell is... Oh, this is the Jupiter Mobile. This is from that Japanese company, right?
So this, because I was coming on your show, and this is a special occasion, I took this out of my private reserve stash. Okay? I, at one time, owned 12 of these. And the last one I sold, like I said, went for $257. I currently have 3 left. Yeah, I have 3 left of these things in 3 different kinds. This one's Jupiter. I have Orbits and Mercury. The last one that sold was the Pluto, which I had on my mind. And the last one went to a guy in New York on the 15th floor of some building, and he was loving it.
I'm sorry to interrupt you here, but I looked at the box and I didn't get it. Now I see it. I really like that. I wouldn't mind having that in my office on the ceiling here.
I love them. And like I said, I have 3 left out of all of those, and I've had them hanging over there for over a year now because I didn't want to part with them because you cannot find them, Philip. So that's where it comes down to supply and demand, perception, all these different factors. And someone having a drink late at night might hit that buy button and just buy it.
So that's what is that? Stainless steel?
I believe it's metal for sure.
Yeah, it looks like stainless steel. So it's a Jupiter Mobile. I really like that. How much are you selling that for?
We're starting this at $199.
So people have to come at you with more than $200 to see if you'll deal with them. Okay.
Yep.
Okay, that's really nice. I'm going to move on from that now to see. Not all of these things. When you sent me the photos, not everything is as it appeared. The next thing I have is the Kellogg's, the cornflake people, watch set. by Atlantis. What is a Kellogg's electronic digital watch set?
It's something that Kellogg's put out in 1980. 1982. Okay, and it has multiple faces on it. These are new in the box, so that's 32 years old, 34 years old.
Yep.
And they're just the faces of all your favorite. There's Tony the Tiger, the little frog from Smacks, and the Fruit Loop toucan. I'm not sure who the little guy is.
These are all digital watches then. You put them on a kid's hand or whoever's hand, and they've got a digital watch in them.
It's one digital watch. I'll go ahead and open this up. It's one digital watch that has multiple faces that you can interchange.
Oh, I see. That is. I know there are so many people that love these things. That is what? When did you say that's from? The 50s? It looks like the 50s.
No, 1982.
Really?
1982.
Wow.
And it's never been used. Yeah, never been used. It'll need a fresh battery, I'm sure.
How much?
I think I was doing these for $15. So anything 15 and over, whoever wants it.
I'll put it up one more time. I'm going to move on one more time. I need the next thing. Since that was a train scenario, let's stay with a train and go to. I'm putting the picture on the screen. The Rail Baron game. What the hell is the Rail Baron game?
Yeah, I have that sitting over there on its shelf because it's awesome. Okay, so that was one of the things that I bought at that auction, and I paid. Well, I'm not gonna say what I paid for it.
Don't tell them what you paid for it. You don't want them to know your profit. It's not good business.
Who knows? No. But the thing is, it was so fun when I bought this because I saw that they're selling. The last one sold on eBay for $150. I'll just leave it at that.
Oh my God.
Yep, and I have one right there. So,
it's a game though. What is it? A board game?
Mm-hmm.
And how much are you selling this for? 150?
Before I talked to you, before I met you, I had it up there for $133.
And what happened after you met me?
I took it off of eBay.
Oh, okay.
So that I could offer it to people.
So those of you who are into rail and barons and games, 133. Of course, your items here, the most important thing about them is they're one of a kind now, and they're the sort of things that most people might get as heirlooms. I want to move on to something that appeals to me a lot, and I believe you have these in the plural. This is vintage floral serving trays. Now, your idea of vintage and my idea of vintage are totally different because we come from different eras. What are you? Do you have any idea what vintage we're talking about? This to me, well, I'm not going to say what vintage it looks like.
Yeah, these are late 50s, early 60s.
Oh, okay. So if they're in the 50s, then they're vintage. If they're in the 60s, they're so new. How many of these do you have?
4.
4. Are they all the same or different colors, different types?
They're identical. They're all identical.
Do you have to buy all 4?
That's a good question. I've only sold them in the 4s. The last set, because this is the second time I found these 4.
How much?
Which is odd.
How much are people going to pay for them?
$65.
For the 4? That's a good price. $65
it is really good.
For circa late 1950, early 1960. They look like they're in fabulous shape because, as you said, they're brand new. So that's
they're not brand, but they're awesome.
Well, they look brand new because they're shiny and you clean them up and everything. I'm not seeing it. Do they have any marks on them?
There's going to be a couple scuffs, a little patina on the bottom, possibly, but they are very nice, very presentable. I would think nothing of serving my mom something on them. So,
well, you're a good son if you'll serve your mom with that. Before we go, Todd, because we're just we started a little late, so I always come in on the hour. Before we go, I heard you, of course, on a video, you have a pretty nice singing voice, so that must have been another life of yours. And this audience of ours are very prone to turning on the Elvis Presley station. Do you feel, if you don't, we can just miss it this time and do it next time? Could you do a little? Turn your damn phone off. You're on a live show. It's buzzing.
I just heard that. Yeah.
Maybe
okay.
it's actually one of our viewers. That's what it is. Oi, don't call him now. Wait. Anyway, you got a couple of lines of Elvis you want to sing?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. We'll do this one. Treat me like a fool. Treat me mean and cruel. But love me. Break my faithful heart. Tear it all apart. But love me.
Very nice. It would have been better without the buzzing phone, but I see you got your headphone on and you got your microphone. You're not hearing any of that, but very nice. What do you think, Anne, if you're still with us? Was that worth a round of applause? I don't know where Anne is. Anne's the only one who's talking tonight. Todd, I've really enjoyed this. Let me tell everyone, my guest on today's show has been Todd Rendon, a.k.a. the Flippin' Hustler, a legend among YouTubers, eBay addicts, and the proprietor of the online shopping experience called Grendon Treasures. I've just given the wrong name, haven't I? It wasn't Grendon Treasures. Was it Grendon? No, it was Glendon Treasures.
Trendon Treasures.
Trendon Treasures. I've been drinking this Campari too long tonight, Todd, and that's Trendon Treasures. Not to worry, because all of this is going to be posted as soon as we go onto Facebook after the show, and as soon as we put this onto YouTube, all of the correct links, direct links, correct and direct links we'll put there. So, Todd, it's a pleasure calling you my new friend, and this is just the beginning, as they say at the end of one of my favorite films, of a beautiful friendship. I'm going to close with you and the legendary Hawk on the prowl for treasure. I am going to disconnect you in a few seconds so we can do that, and I will talk to you very soon. Good luck to you, and I will let you know the items I'm looking for. Maybe you can find me some. So thanks for being on the show, and I hope I impressed you with some of the knowledge I have about you that you didn't think I would know.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it. Thanks for watching, everyone.
Okay, bye-bye. And everyone else, I will see you same time, same place next week. Bye-bye. Cheers.
I went to my first auction this morning and picked up a whole bunch of really cool stuff. Got some vintage catalogs. I mean, just some really good stuff. And then Hawk said, well, what are you doing after this? And I said, well, I don't know. And he said, well, let's go check it out. So here we are, man. We've been to, what, 3 stores so far? Three stores, and we found a few things. The last one we did strike out, but we're going to go to...
Typically it's pretty bad, though. They're usually better.
Yeah.
They're usually pretty good here.
So we're going to a cool place that this gentleman goes in. He must buy out estates or something, right?
Show them Minnesota.
Oh yeah.
Just switching.
Let me switch the camera around here, guys. Let me flip her around.
Red River.
It's the Red River, Minnesota. And we've gone in from Fargo. Now we're in Minnesota.